Hello, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Simply Spooky. You'll notice Dan has got a better looking overnight. Actually, no, Dan can't make it tonight. He's busy at
I'm going
work.
to tell him you said that.
Yeah, Dan's ugly. He knows it. We tell him. So Lois is stepping in, and we are going tonight. We're probing David Young.
Hello.
So, welcome, David. How are you?
Hi.
I'm fine, thank you. Hello, Loopy Lewis. Lois, is it? Loopy Lois?
Aye. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And I love the hat, Viv.
Oh, as I say,
Yeah.
Is that in honour of me, is it?
Well, no, you've been to the expo, the alien, whatever you call it, expo.
It was the Awakening
Yes.
Expo in Blackpool.
Oh, wow.
2022.
So I'm protecting myself from all that alien radiation, and I've got an antenna here and everything, just so I get a better signal.
That must have made me. I was actually feeling quite ill last week, and going to that Awakening, I didn't think I was going to make it on Thursday when I set off, because I was actually feeling quite rough. But yeah,
you needed one of these.
Feeling fine, so it's done me good.
You needed one of these. That's what it was.
Maybe, yeah. And also, right, you called me a UFO expert. I'm going to
Yes,
say,
you are.
I am not a UFO expert. I don't believe
Well, you are.
I don't believe there are any UFO experts. Even a lot of the people that I know who I class as UFO experts, I don't think they are experts, and they'd say the same thing. I don't think there are any experts, but
well, you are to me. You are to me, and if I want to know anything, I come to you. You're the person that you're my go-to guy. So to me, you're my expert.
Okay, well, I know a few people I can go to as well, so that's the important thing.
I just love the whole subject. I think the subject's really, really interesting.
Really. It is. It's fascinating, I mean, I started out. No, it's your show, Viv. You set off what you want to say.
No, you carry on.
No, all I was going to say to Lois, I was going to say that really, I said that what got me interested in it was probably back in about I'm not sure if it was 66 or 67, but I actually saw a big orange thing going across.
Oh, he's froze.
It's frozen. He'll be back in a minute.
Yep. The joys of Facebook.
I know. Or maybe they don't.
Was it me at my end or your end?
It was your end. He's off again.
He's froze again.
Does he look like the man from the Oak Island treasure mystery there? Look at him.
It does.
He had darker hair. Yeah, doesn't he? The man from Oak Island.
It does. Maybe it's your antenna on top of your head that stops.
Yeah.
Is it me or your end?
I think it's you. I'm taking my antenna off in case it's affecting.
He's gonna get. Oh, bless him. Exactly. They don't want David telling their secrets.
He's gone. He's got to go and come back. You one of those for the other end? Different probing.
In fact,
you just use your finger. Sorry.
Do you know I need a tin hat for Friday because I'm feared of the probing.
You're going to get a probing Friday. It's going to be good. Hi.
I meant to say, Emma couldn't comment last night on the live. She was trying to comment. She couldn't comment last night because she was trying to say hi to everybody.
Oh.
But she can comment tonight, so
yeah.
That's the main thing.
Just spitting up comments up. Is he coming back? Here you go. Coming back.
Hello. Yeah, right. Was that?
Oh, he's gone again.
They definitely don't want to tell any secrets tonight.
They don't. It's like, and it says, "Oh God, what's happened here?" Oh, it's really playing up tonight, isn't it? He's been abducted.
He has. E.T. go home. This is why.
Because I was being naughty. E.T. has taken David
They
away.
were home. I'm okay now.
Oh dear.
He's.
I don't know. He's got weather interference or something, or maybe one of his masts is down in his area. I don't know.
Yep. So it's just us two again. Oh, what mischief can we?
Quickly talk about him while he's not here.
He'll not see us, not at all. We're not live or nothing.
But he did look, when that screen froze, he looked like the man from The Curse of Oak Island, didn't he?
He did, I must have. I never kind of noticed until you kind of pointed that one out, and I was like, oh.
Don't tell him. I think he'll give me a backhander if he heard that I was saying that about him.
He probably will. He probably let just back and be shouting, bastards.
He'll go, shh.
They said, what about me?
Oh, it is funny. It's funny. I don't think he's just happening. Oh, we got him back. We got him back.
Again, or is it? I don't know what. I don't know if it's my end or your end here. It's, I'm trying to turn everything. I'm trying to turn all my Wi-Fi stuff off. Maybe that's the. Sorry, it's just.
We've been talking about you while you've been out. Right. That's all.
Okay, I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or what. I didn't know if it was you or me. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something about back in 66 or 67.
Yeah.
Was when I saw a big orange object going across the sky. It must have been about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was just completely silent, and it was different shades of orange, and around about the same sort of time, there was a book came out called Chariots of the Gods, written by Eric von Däniken, and they actually started doing bits of it. Remember the news? I think it was. No, it might have been a Sunday Mirror. They started doing it in a weekly bits of it, over the weeks, and I just got fascinated with the whole subject. But then it sort of made me think about something that happened when I was a kid. When I was a child, I grew up in London. You might be able to tell. I was actually sitting on the steps. What are you laughing at? I was sitting on my steps.
I'm from London.
Yeah, I know. But I was sitting on my steps, looking up at the sky, looking at stars, just looking at the stars, like kids do. I was probably about 7 or 8, and I was talking about the late 50s here. And I can remember watching a star move and stop and move and stop. And I'm talking about the late 50s, so there wasn't such things as satellites flying about. And it was only later on, and I thought, well, what the hell was that I was watching? Because we know now that stars don't move and stop and move and stop. So that was probably my first UFO experience, but I didn't know it.
Oh, wow.
And I suppose supernatural things. I mean, I think I've told you this before, Biff. When I was a child in my cot, we were living in London. My parents rented a house, and we had the upstairs type of thing. I remember my cot and seeing a purple mist come into the room and float around the room, and it terrified me at the time. I didn't know what ghosts were. I was probably only less than that, under 2, I think it was. Just sort of started to talk, and I remember screaming, and my father coming in and saying, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And I was saying, sort of look in baby language, look at that. Can't you see it swirling? And it's like this purple mist. Mm-hmm. And that always stuck with me, because I asked my dad if he remembered that, and he said, "Yeah, he remembered it. It wasn't a dream that I'd had."
No.
But another interesting thing to add to that was the house that we were living in at the time. I didn't know it. I wasn't unaware of it because I don't remember. But around about that time was when the lady who owned the house, who we rented from, she died. She used to live downstairs, apparently. So whether she was having a look around, I don't know. But I think I asked you about the colour, the importance of the purple. Some people think that the purple is quite important. I'm not quite sure about that.
Purple's like an all-round general good healing colour, and a very spiritual colour, and it brings in love as well. People think about pink.
Yeah, but I mean,
being,
so why did it terrify me as a kid? Because it seemed to terrify me, you know, and it seemed to know it was terrifying. What's in my mind, it seemed to know it was terrifying me, you know. Well, it's always been fascinating to me. You know, so it's something I've never forgotten, you know.
Yeah, you wouldn't, would you? Really?
No, it always stayed with me. But they were kind of my early experiences that kind of got me interested in the paranormal as such.
Yeah. But like, no, I want to know about this awakening thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was quite a lot of. It's
quite
a lot of stars, and in the I don't know what you would call it, the UFOlogy side, or but.
So I'm looking at my ear. I just washed my ear. I'm sorry, it's all sticking up.
You look fine.
You look absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Well, anyway, yeah. Sorry.
So what happened? I know it's a whole weekend of talks and all sorts going on there.
It was the Friday, the 23rd, was it? No, 24th. It was Friday the 24th, Saturday the 25th, and Sunday the 26th. I think I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was absolutely amazing. It was basically one of my heroes, Eric von Daniken, was there, the man that started me off on this pathway. I've actually been lucky enough to meet him a few times in the past, and of course he was there again this year. He's 87 actually. He's still doing the circuit and
wow,
his talks.
Oh wow,
87. You know, it's amazing. Man. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't need to, because I don't think he sort of needs the money or anything. You know, he's obviously just sort of still trying to spread the word, you know, as they do. And there's also, if you watch Ancient Aliens, Giorgio was there. Giorgio Tukas. I've met him before. Like, I'm not boasting. I'm just saying I've happened to meet. I met him before, so I've been lucky there as well. And there was other great people like there's so many to mention actually. Barry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
There was Maria Wheatley. There was I just want to think all the names that were there, but yeah, there was quite a few to, you know, I can't get off the top of my head at the moment.
Yeah. But, too much to sort of take in. Yeah,
there's a lot to take in. I wasn't expecting that question to come up just yet.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I think my head's in a bit of a mist as well. I went to see the Elvis movie this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't talk about that yet. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Okay. I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
I've seen trailers, but
I'm just grabbing that so that it might give you some reminders about.
So, what case is it? Like when we talk about UFOs and we'll talk about aliens and things like that. What fascinates you the most? What case in the UFOlogy, if I pronounced that right?
I guess we probably are all. Well, I guess it all starts from Roswell, isn't it? The crash from 1947. Whether that was what really got, I don't think that was what brought me into it. As I say, I think it was from the Eric von Daniken, reading the Ancient Aliens and wondering how all these ancient monoliths were built, and the questions that were being asked by Eric von Daniken. He wasn't answering any of the questions in the book because it was called Chariots of the Gods with a question mark. He was just surmising and asking questions and making you think about how they built it. I know, and he's never said that they were built by aliens. But the people back then were probably helped by people from the skies. You know, that's the assumption, and possibly giants lived back then as well, because some of those big stone monoliths. Also the thing is, we're told by archaeologists that those stones were moved by trunks, and I'm not talking about tree trunks, not trunks you wear, tree trunks and ropes and things and pulleys. Now those stones are so heavy. If you put those stones onto a tree trunk, they'll just squash it, and they've demonstrated that in the past. And also trying to pull them with ropes. No matter how many, if you've got 1,000 people, those ropes are not going to be strong enough to pull those stones either. I know they've done demonstrations, and but I think they've done it with smaller stones. It's like Stonehenge. That's another one. That's another puzzle. Those stones, how they got them up high. You know,
Do you think they used water to move the stones rather than the pulley and the, because I know for definite around the pyramids, the Nile came closer to the actual pyramids and it receded because they found shells and everything. Yeah. But I was just wondering if maybe water was a factor, and they got this technology from somewhere else about using water. And
I have heard those theories before, and especially transporting those stones by boats. And I mean, whether those boats could have held the weights of those stones is a bit of a question in my mind. You know, because for one thing, you've got to get it from the quarries, cut them from the quarries, then lift them onto the boat, then lift them off the boat after you've got them to where they're going. It raises questions in my mind. I mean, I'm by no means an expert in it, but I sort of go by what other people, the real experts say, and it does actually make, it just doesn't make sense, a lot of that, to me.
Yeah. But Annette says that she'd love to have gone to that, but we never hear about them until afterwards. I think she's talking about the awakening.
Well, you see, now that's a puzzle to me, because I'd known about it for almost a year before we went. So how she didn't know about it? I mean, I guess you've got to be in the right circles. Perhaps if you follow me on Facebook or something, you might find out things that are coming up. And not only me, but there's other people that. Well, I mean, there's a group. I mean, there's the book there. That if you join the awakening thing, and I happen to know that if anyone wants to go next year, it's in August next year, because I've already got a ticket for it. So already, yeah, for August next year, 2023. And Luis Elizondo is coming over. He's one of the people that are going to be there. Luis Elizondo.
Elizondo.
Elizondo. Yeah, look, let's see if we can find. That's the thing for next year already, and that's just a few of the people that are going to be there.
Oh, Steve Meara's coming back.
And Steve Meara is actually the CEO of the.
Oh, is he? I know Steve.
He runs it. Yeah.
I know Steve. God bless him. He's a nice guy.
Hi,
Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Annette Locke is going to follow you, Dave.
All right. Please do.
I'm second in the queue tonight. I'm going to, because it's one of these subjects that really does interest me. Like, I used to be quite sceptical about things like that, but I've become quite geeky the older that I get. The older I get, the more geekier I get. So then it just started off like, I guess it was a documentary I'd watched in Skinwalker Ranch, and then it just fell there. Then I watched something like another documentary about Area 51, and it actually got me to start questioning about, is there another life? What's it like? And again, we had this conversation when we obviously did about alien abduction and things like that. So I always plug in when it's about aliens, because I love it. I'm fascinated.
If you want to know anything, and we don't cover it in the show, guys in the chat, get hold of David either by Facebook or private message, and just ask him absolutely anything.
Yeah, well, anyone's welcome to message me anytime. I'll try and answer anything. If I've got plenty of people I know, I'll come back to you, Viv, and I'll shoot a question.
And I'd say, David, let's just make shit up. Nobody would ever know.
Anyone that knows me, I can't do that.
I know. William says it's been very well proven as to how the monuments could have been built with the technology of the time. Humans were advanced a few thousand years ago.
Yeah, we're told that, aren't we? We're told that but I actually disagree with a lot of what we're told on the television, mainstream media. A lot of it, like I said, to me, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. And if you start reading books like Chariots of the Gods, and not only Chariots of the Gods, but there's people like Graham Hancock and who've written several other books, and Andrew. well, I can't think of his second name, but no, there's another friend of mine. But when you start reading their books, they do explain why the mainstream media that we're taught, a lot of stuff we're taught in school is not accurate. I don't think, historically wise.
Yep.
And I think they're singing from that same hymn sheet that we're just all fed that same line that we're supposed to just accept. Because I mean, we know for a fact there's a lot of stuff locked away in museums and things. They won't display them because they don't want to, because they can't answer the questions that will come up if they've got these things on display. You know.
I came up with a theory on Tuesday that the Vatican holds a lot of the secrets, and I believe they've got alien technology in the Vatican. They've also got craft. They've got all sorts there. I mean, which is why everything.
I don't know that for a fact, but I have heard that from several sources that they've got an awful lot of stuff that we'll never see. We'll never hear of. But I do agree with that. And a lot of it is also hidden on purpose because they just can't. They just don't want those questions coming up. We know the Bibles that have been back to the King James Bible was actually ripped to shreds, and half of it's missing. Really, so a lot of it was actually kept secret.
Gary, I'm going to put your question up in a little while, but we're just sort of doing one bit at a time rather than jumping here, then everywhere. So I'm not ignoring you, Gary. It is the Gary but Annette says that she's with you, David. She thinks a lot of it is hidden.
But again, this comes down to like if they had to admit what was in Area 51, whatever happened at Roswell, then it's going to bring a lot more questions on top of everything else, because then they're going to start to go into every conspiracy theory that there is. They're going to start looking at everyone and saying, well, if you've lied about this, then what else are you hiding? And then that's going to like pull even more, out of the woodwork. And I just sometimes I love the mystery of the unknown, but other times I'm that nosy. I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean, David, over the last couple of years, the Pentagon have actually been releasing a lot of UFO stuff, and they're actually kind of admitting, they're admitting very quietly that UFOs do exist. They've actually been released. We've released a lot of files in this country, thousands and thousands of pages of it. And if you start going through. I mean, I haven't been through all those pages, but some people, it'll take you years. But there are some real gems in there, and they do refer to UFOs and UAPs, as they call them now, because so many people were putting in freedom of information requests for UFOs, so they kind of deflected them onto, and they started calling them UAPs instead, which is unidentified aerial phenomena. So when someone puts in a request about a UFO, obviously it's not going to come in because they've got it listed under UAP.
So David, how do people get their hands on that kind of information? They say it's been released, but where can we see this? Where can we get our hands on it? Oh no.
See, that's going to happen every time we ask a question. About
where can we see this information?
I've noticed a pattern to the thing with.
Do you think?
Uh-huh.
No, surely not.
Maybe. You never know. What I would give to go into the Vatican crypt. So would I about Wendy, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. But could you just imagine that after all those years, right?
Hi, Kelly.
That people discover, the amount of lies that have been told.
They're on to us. Yeah, it was all David. Not me and Lois. It was just all David.
It was. But can you imagine the amount of lies that could come out and the amount of questions? This would be bigger than the Johnny Depp case.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hi, Janelle.
Hi.
Oh, what a beautiful name.
I love that name.
It is nice, isn't it? So David is, while he's gone, we'll talk about him again. I love doing that. He is an absolute super fan of Elvis Presley.
Oh, wow.
And he went over to Memphis a couple of years ago with his good lady wife. And when he comes back, we should just ask him about Gracelands and what's in it. And
Oh, I love Elvis Presley. See some of his songs. Oh my god, I'm just like, oh wow. Hi, Kelly. How you doing, pal? Oh, I keep
Lucy.
forgetting. I keep forgetting that my camera. I keep moving that way. My camera's this way. So hi.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? Oh, look, for those that missed it earlier, I've got
Oh, your tin hat. I love it.
tin hat.
But yeah, I absolutely love Elvis Presley. But my music tastes are quite like old-fashioned. It would surprise you if I told you it's like in for the 50s right to the 80s. Some of the year stuff.
Well, all I know is I'm going to see Adamant on Wednesday.
Oh, you lucky ducky.
He's got no voice today. He has COVID or just getting over COVID. So I'm crossing everything that he's going to be all right for Sunday. I was supposed to have seen him 2 years ago. And yeah, it's just been dragging on and dragging on. So yeah, but he looks like Johnny Depp's older brother.
I just can't believe what Johnny Depp's done. He's shaved off his beard and he's just like kind of. And I was like gutted. I was like, oh no, why? Believe it or not, I've never actually been to a concert.
Have you
never.
not?
No, because I know what it is. I could be quite claustrophobic at times, and I don't know how I would cope being in like a massive big crowd.
You need to go to like a thrash metal concert and get right in there in the mosh pit. You know what they do in a mosh pit, don't
God,
you?
aye, they fling you about like anything.
Just punch everyone, kick them, and just leave your glasses behind. Just punch them and kick them, and just get out of my way. And if you can get up to crowd surf, even better still. But the trouble is, people punch you on from underneath as you're crowd surfing.
Do you know what? I used to love it. There used to be like a nightclub down my way that you had all your rockers and your moshers, and I used to love it because like they just didn't care. It was just so a chilled out atmosphere. I loved all that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
is David coming back?
I should imagine he will be. So he must have been having internet problems again. It's because we were talking about those government documents that they were releasing.
Is that no freaky? But we said that and suddenly just went. Poof.
Well, on the Dark Mirror show, they don't say the word government; they say bobberment because they think that Facebook has a thing where it recognises you saying that word so many times. So,
I didn't even know that. That's a good one.
I didn't know that either, but
that's the same as like TikTok. They're trying to say that TikTok is a way to it's artificial intelligence.
Hey, looks like I'm back again.
He's back again.
Oh,
we were just
when you start asking awkward questions.
We were talking about you when you were
going on. I'm supposed to be on super fast broadband here, so I don't know what's going on.
It's because we mentioned the G word. That's why. Oh.
Somebody's desperate.
You, Viv, I can't see Lois.
There you are. I can see you.
Right. Okay.
See you.
Did I go, or did you? Because you went on my end. Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're freezing a lot.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know if it's super fast broadband, folks. Here you go. Anyway. You were asking about where you can find these records. Well, they're actually, if you sort of just Google them or whatever, you can actually, and I think they actually do charge to look at some of these UFO records online. But there is thousands of pages. You can probably go into like the Pentagon sites and things. Just Google UFOs or UAP informations, and there's thousands and tens of thousands of pages to go through. I still don't think they've released absolutely everything. Although they say they've released everything, I still don't think they have.
No.
Do you think the papers that they released are genuine, or do you think it's a coy to try and put people off?
No, I think they're genuine. If we go back to like Project Blue Book, that was like a customer relations exercise when people were recording all these UFOs, which the US Air Force were collecting up. But I think that was a thing that was set up so they could answer a lot of them. But a lot of the more important ones were shuffled aside somewhere else. You know, and so they. I mean, I think you were left with quite a lot that weren't answered with Project Blue Book, but they were minor ones. You know, the big sort of cases. So they sort of shuffled aside somewhere else, and they never saw the light of day public wise. And a lot of that stuff is actually coming out now. They've been sort of unclassified. But of course, you've got to search for them. You know.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I only heard stories about President Kennedy, whether this is actually true or not. But President Kennedy was actually wanting to release a lot of UFO files, and that was one of the reasons he was murdered. Whether that's actually true or not, I don't know. And it's because he was having an affair with Marilyn Monroe at one point, and apparently that was one of the reasons that she was murdered as well. And because he actually told her about some of the stuff. But whether it's true or not, it's just one of these things that's gone into legend.
She was also having an affair with Anton LaVey. Did you know that?
That's
the Satanist.
Oh, right, yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Oh my God, I didn't even know that myself.
I know she was having an affair with Bobby Kennedy as well, the Kennedys.
Well, she was...
Bobby Kennedy.
I'm gonna call her Marge Monroe.
She's keeping it in the family.
Well, no, because she spreads very easily. That's all I was going to say. That's naughty. That's naughty.
I think we all love Marilyn Monroe. I love Marilyn Monroe. I thought she was lovely, but maybe she wasn't quite as homely as people think. But
no,
she was a very beautiful woman.
Legendary. Yeah.
Let's talk about Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know.
I went to see the film this afternoon. It's fantastic.
Oh wow!
I know that you went to Memphis and you went to Graceland. You went to Graceland's.
Yeah.
So we want to know what it's like in Graceland's itself.
It's amazing. To be honest, it's actually changed. The first time I went, which was about 92, I think. I think it was shortly after it was open to the public. Well, a couple of years after it was open to the public. And a lot of the exhibits that they had then, they didn't, a lot of the exhibits they've got now sort of thing, they didn't have then. Because I think they were sort of gearing up to make it more like a Disney World, I suppose. Because a lot of the stores and things that were opposite Graceland, they were like normal shops, and they were selling lots of Elvis memorabilia. But if you go there now, there's like a big complex opposite Graceland where they've got the aeroplanes on display, and they've got museums and all the exhibit, different halls and things. And they've even got a car museum, all the cars and things in there. So it's pretty amazing. They didn't have it the first time I went. And like this, probably the second and third times, there was more and more being added. I think the trip I went on, not the last one, but the one before, it was about 10 years ago. They just awarded Elvis for all the CD sales, which they hadn't actually given gold, like they give gold discs and things, where they were gold CDs and things. And then there was a massive, great display of them. There was about 110, I think, 110.
Wow!
Great big ball. They didn't they didn't know where to store it. They actually stored it in his because he had a racquetball court, so they stored it in there at the time because it had a high roof. But since then, they've actually moved it into the I think it's like in the foyer of the museum type of thing. But it's an amazing place to go. It really is. Well, now, when the last time I went, actually, I've seen some pictures, some more recent pictures. The last time we went was about 5 years ago, and in one of the museums they had a lot of his outfits, stage outfits and things on the cat. They had the stage outfits in glass cases. Well, apparently what they've got now, the glass cases are they've actually got them one on top of the other. So they've got them all along the wall, so you can actually see basically all of them. You've got to look up, although you can't get as close to some of them as you could. It's actually quite an amazing display. I think it's a really good idea what they've done. But, but I would advise anyone, well, even if you're not an Elvis fan, that film is absolutely fantastic. It really is. And I have heard that the Tom Cruise Maverick, Top Gun Maverick film that came out last week broke box office records for its opening weekend. Well, the Elvis film has broken that record.
Yeah, will do.
Oh my God.
You got the mums and the grandmas, plus the daughters and the kids, all wanting to go and see Elvis. So, of course, it's going to break all.
Well, I'll tell you what, the amazing thing is, when you see the fellow that's playing Elvis, his name's escapes me at the moment, but really, he doesn't look like Elvis. But he's got the essence. What he does on the film with the essence of bringing home, he's really brought the essence. I mean, he's got all. He's been studying it for years, apparently.
Austin Butler. That's
Austin
his name.
Butler, that's it. Yeah.
That place.
I had it on the tip of my tongue. Now, if he doesn't get an Oscar for that film, I shall eat my hat, because I think he's absolutely brilliant. What he's done.
He's done basically for Elvis what Rami Malek did for Freddie Mercury at Queen.
Freddie Mercury, yeah, that was a good film. Yeah. But this, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not really a big Queen fan, more of a King fan, but I did enjoy that film. But this is far superior to that.
Yeah,
far superior. It is absolutely brilliant. I mean, even if you're not an Elvis fan, you'll enjoy it because it's the way it's.
Have you got Elvis's autograph? Have you got his signature?
No, I wish I did. I mean, it must be worth a fortune, but no, I haven't.
No, I see them. I see them at the Collectomania fairs, and I think the last one I saw a couple of years ago was about 83 quid or something like that they were asking for. Seriously?
That couldn't be a real one.
It was just on.
It was on the Larry Warren one.
No, it weren't with him. No, because it wasn't signed on anything important. It was just a piece of paper that was put up with his picture, so he didn't sign a picture. It wasn't one of his old checks that he used to pay the gas bill or anything like that.
I mean, they go for tens of thousands of pounds, his signature, and to see it for 83, I'd buy it for that, because it'd be worth a lot more. I mean, that's why I'm a bit suspicious as to whether it would be genuine.
I think that people want other things signed though, because you can get. I was seeing, when they pay their utility bills and there's a check written, and so you're seeing how much it is, what he's paying, and he signed a signature. Those checks were going for stupid amount of money.
Yeah, or checks for a car or something.
Yeah. But the piece of paper one, it was just like.
Yeah, I suppose maybe there's no provenance to say that it's actually genuine. That's probably what it is.
Why? Yeah.
Because there is a lot of. I mean, I would say a lot of 90% of the stuff that you get on eBay and stuff like that is fraud.
No, this was on a proper fair.
We already know about someone who does a lot of fraud.
Yeah.
That's why.
Beatles memorabilia and everything. So
I remember that.
That's why I love watching programs like Pawn Stars. Thank God I said that right, because usually when I say it,
for example, you see some of the fraudulent stuff that comes up on there. Steve Grob, is it? I think he's the autograph expert.
Yeah, I just love him because he's just great. He actually goes thoroughly through, and he'll tell you where it's wrong or where it's right. And I mean, you see a lot of them try to bring in things like Babe Ruth and things like that. Things like all sorts of things that they try to bring in.
Well, I know we're supposed to be talking about paranormal stuff. I've seen Beatles LPs.
Yeah.
And they're going for about 85 quid, like you said. And they've all been signed by Paul McCartney, John Lennon, John Jackson. No, I'm sorry, but no. They won't. They will not be genuine.
Talking of frauds, the alien autopsy.
Yeah.
Now I know that was his name, Philip Mantle. I found this out.
Well, Smply is the man who created it all. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
And then did Philip Mantle say it was just all fake and this is the reason why? And then there was all this hoo-ha over
Philip
alien
Mantle actually believed it once. He wrote a book. I'll put it on the shelf here somewhere. He actually wrote a book about the alien autopsy because he actually. But later on, someone came forward by the name of Smply and said, "Well, I created all that." And
oh my God!
I mean, I've become good friends with Spiros. He's been on my radio show a couple of times. But Spiros has actually brought a book out recently with all how he did it and everything. But,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Have you seen the book? It is beautiful.
No, I've seen the film. I've seen the film, not the book.
Right. Yeah. The book. I mean, I was taken in when it came out in, what was it, 95, 95. I can't remember what year it was. But I was one of those people that thought, is this real? And I was taken in for a while. I had the video and everything. Yeah, it was only later on, and I think it was probably when Spiros started coming forward to say that he made this film. He was responsible for putting it all together. And the first time I met Spiros, I went to London to see a presentation where he started explaining about how he made the dummies and how they filmed it and where they filmed it. It was all filmed in Camden, believe it or not, Camden, the marketplace. They had an empty house there. It was his girlfriend's at the time, and they did this room up. And how it came about was he was actually asked by what was his name? So I'm terrible for names sometimes. He wanted to do basically. They wanted to put this hoax out and then admit it after a little while. They were going to give it to the newspapers and say they've got this alien autopsy, but not give any explanation as to where it's come from or anything.
Yeah.
And let them sort of work it out to see, and then say, no, we did it, we presented it. Well, what actually, Santilli, Ray Santilli. Now, what Ray Santilli did, he actually then started selling it to film companies. I think it was Fox or whatever, and he also started putting out that it was a US Air Force secret film that he'd actually found somewhere. Now, Spiros never knew anything about all this. As far as he knew, he'd made this film as a joke, kind of, as a hoax type of thing, with for Ray Santilli. And the next thing he knew about it, I think he was in Japan or something, and it came on the television about this. And apparently he was making it with a cup of coffee, and he spat his coffee out. And that's my alien.
Because it went global, didn't it? It was a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely global. Yeah, it apparently made millions out of it. Ray Santilli, and of course there was a bit of a battle going on since then as to. And of course, a lot of people. There's still people out there now that believe that alien autopsy is genuine. It's a real alien autopsy.
But is it not amazing, like how something starts off as like just to see how people would react, and it blows into this multi-million thing that everybody believes. The
thing is, Spiros never saw any of that money.
That's bad.
That is bad.
And that's not. And Spiros has explained that's not what he was in it for, to make money anyway. It was actually because he was approached about doing this hoax thing, and then to let people work it out, and to then just come up and sort of say, yeah, we did it. Don't worry, it was all a joke. But it didn't work out that way. It was kind of one of those things where he was a busy man. He just kind of did the film, forgot about it really, and then sort of carried on with his life. And then sort of 10 years later, or I don't think it was 10 years, it was a few years later, it came up, and all of a sudden there it was all over the place, that's saying about this real alien autopsy.
Wow.
And there's been quite a few people since then that no, it was a fake.
I hope he gets some money or some sort of payment from that, because that's horrible when somebody else's work is plagiarized and Do you know what I mean? And it's not nice. It's not nice.
Well, Spiros has told me, and I don't think it's giving anything away, that he's hoping that there's going to be a film made, and it would make a great movie, you know, going along like the same as they've done with Elvis, to make the alien autopsy, how it was all done and put together and everything. It would make a fantastic, and I think quite a funny film as well, you know, with all the characters involved in it, and it would be brilliant, actually. But he has told me that, and he's actually put. I mean, I think Clint Eastwood was actually interested because he knows of quite a few people and involved in the business. And I think Clint Eastwood had too much on his plate, and plus he's sort of getting a bit old maybe now to. But because he's got his own projects and things to. He's still doing his own film projects. Spiros actually mentioned the names. Steven Spielberg as well. Whether I don't know if he's spoken to him about it, but if you had a director in that sort of caliber, it'd make a fantastic film.
Yeah, it would be. I would watch it definitely.
Yeah. I would.
Oh, John.
He's getting needy. The problem is he keeps knocking everybody out off the feed. So I do apologise, David, for you disappeared then for a minute. That's John's fault.
Again for a minute.
No. So I need to go back to Gary's question. So
Gary Bradfield, is it Gary? Yeah.
It's Gary Bradfield, and he said, David, if you didn't follow ufology, what other subject would you follow within the paranormal field?
Well, I do. I mean, Gary probably knows I do follow other things in the paranormal field. I mean, that is kind of. I think it was just because ufology was my first interest. Maybe I don't know, because I used to when I was a teenager, right into from my early teens when I started getting interested in all these things. I used to have several scrapbooks where I used to keep newspaper clippings of ghosts and UFOs and anything strange like the Loch Ness Monster and all that sort of stuff. So it isn't my only interest. I mean, I'm very interested in the spiritual side of things and ghosts and everything else. I think it was just the ufology came along first, you know, and maybe it's maybe. And I mean, I've said this before on several things that I couldn't see connections between ufology, spiritualism, you know, like ghosts and hauntings and things. But I think there's a lot of connections with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Which I've seemed to have discovered, well, not me discovered, but I seem to have got an understanding that there's something dimensional going on rather than, you know, and I think you agree with me there, Viv. I see you nodding.
Because I think I got the cryptid bug, and I am looking at the Bigfoot and going to the Bigfoot Museum. I think a lot of that is dimensional as well.
Yeah, obviously you're going to be coming on my show in about a month, is it? Something like that, yeah. And we'll talk a lot about that because I'll find out about your trip to the Cape. It was brilliant. And you saw William over there again, didn't you?
Yeah, I went over twice. I went for a month in November, come back in just a week before Christmas.
And then all the way over to the other side, to Oregon, isn't it? It's a beautiful state.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. I mean, and they've got... William was telling me that they've got the largest sightings of Sasquatch in the whole of the country over in Oregon, and I suppose it bleeds into Washington State.
Yeah, Washington. A lot of these, Sasquatch and all that has been seen, Bigfoot or whatever. But it's seen all over the states, isn't it? That's the strange thing. Is it the same creature, or is it a tribe of them that are spread across and they'll seem to keep out of the way?
Yeah, well, I'm with my research. I'm finding that there's more than just American Bigfoots. You've got the Yowie in Australia. You've got the Mandi Burundi of India. They're all over the country. They're all over the world. There's so many.
We were supposed to have one here in Scotland, didn't we? So I was told. There's one that apparently lives in the mountains of Scotland somewhere.
Scotland.
Oh, the is that the Kelpie? I could be wrong. No.
The Kelpie? That's the horses, isn't it?
That's the horse. Sorry, my mistake.
But they've seen in Scotland, Norfolk.
I never saw one in Norfolk. No.
They're actually seen in Essex. They've been
Really?
seen, recently. They've been seen in
So, I
Yorkshire.
mean, see, where can a Bigfoot hide in Essex? I don't quite get that. Unless I mean, we're talking about dimensional beings where they can sort of maybe disappear into portals or whatever.
And
Which
cloaking.
I do, I do believe that they are. That is a possibility. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to live near Rendlesham Woods, Rendlesham Forest. I used to walk around quite a bit in the dark there. And you've been there as well, Viv, haven't you? I think. Have you
I
not?
went recently. I haven't been in the dark. I'm planning to go. You'll have to come with us.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do that. I mean, I want to make a little trip up there again. But when I've walked around in the dark, although I've not seen anything really weird, apart from moving lights in the sky, which we know weren't aeroplanes because they were stopping and moving and everything. But you do get different temperatures when you're walking around in that wood.
Yeah. Sorry, that's me. That's me.
You do get
Sorry.
different temperatures where the temperature in one certain spot will drop.
Yeah.
You've got like a warm bit, and like if you're in the summertime, you've got like a warm area, and then all of a sudden you'll find a very cold spot, and then you can walk past that bit, and it'll go warm again. So, and somebody, I mean, Brenda Butler, been around, and she actually seems to think that they are portal areas, because she's quite sensitive, and she'll say that if you want to take pictures, take it over there, and you'll get something. And you can't see anything until you take the pictures, and you look at your pictures and think, oh, wow, there's all these orbs and things on it.
Wow.
I know orbs is a touchy subject, and some people will say that it's moisture and dust and everything.
But you know what? Before each Bigfoot sighting, or with the Bigfoot sightings, they're also saying about these strange lights that are happening, not in the sky, but in the actual forest amongst the trees. So that is like coming along with Bigfoot. So I wonder if that's the opening of whatever portal or transporter, or I don't know.
Well,
I mean, sorry, I was just going to say, I'll come back in a minute here, but I was talking about orbs. Now, I've seen a couple of orbs with my naked eye. They were like little red lights. We were in the car park coming back to the cars, and I saw this little red light go along. There wasn't a car, there was nothing there. But Brenda said that you saw that as well, didn't you? I said, yeah, I saw that. But I'd also seen another, that was a red light as well, actually in the woods.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Lois, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. What I was going to say is that there's been a report of including 50 Bigfoots in Scotland. So it's certainly a fascinating one. That's something I never even knew. I thought Bigfoot, I always think America. I never actually knew that there was any in
No,
Scotland.
they're all everywhere, aren't they?
They're everywhere.
I am absolutely dying to ask you, David, right? What is your opinion on alien abduction?
Alien abduction. I don't know if I've got an opinion on it. I mean, I believe it happens. I mean, the thing is with a lot of us, we don't know if we've been abducted or not half the time, do we? Is it actually a bodily abduction, or sometimes is it something to do with your astral self that can be abducted? I believe that both happen.
Or mental illness.
Or mental illness.
Yeah. Some of the people clearly have mental health issues, but there are others that seem like credible people that you think,
or is it just assumed that they've got mental illnesses? I mean, could they not have had this real experience? And then people assume that they've got some sort of a mental illness.
There were some people that clearly had drug issues, and that was apparent.
Drugs. Yeah, I could see it from that point of view. Yeah. See, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt until I find out that they're leading me on or lying to me or whatever. I try to believe most people are telling you the truth. So
I'd sit them in a chair and duct tape them to it and have a bright light in their face. Have a bucket of water and a sponge and say, right, now tell me the truth or you get in the water.
Do you know, I just had visions of Viv doing that. That's why I'm frightened. I think on Friday I'm going to keep myself like this. No.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we all have these funny dreams at times, don't we? Does that mean was it a dream or was it real? Something happened? I mean, I've had dreams where, quite a few years ago now, I woke up thinking, just in my waking up state, there was somebody talking to me and saying it was all the vibrations, you know, and it seemed real. It seems as if someone was telling me something about what was happening on the other side, and I was just waking up out of it, you know, because I've been sort of asking questions. Why I would have had someone telling me about, it's all in the vibrations. It just didn't make, you know, I couldn't see any connections as to why I'd be dreaming something like that, you know, because it did seem to me from there. I started thinking about, because we know everything vibrates and nothing is solid, you know, and when you start thinking about ghosts and God knows what else, and they go through walls and everything, you know, I think there's those connections there. You know, you probably know more about that than me, Viv.
I'm listening to you. My opinion's not important right now.
Do you think that with alien abductions, I mean, have you ever had a case where something's really baffled you, but you couldn't explain it, if that makes sense?
What me personally, I can't say I have, no, apart from the things that have happened to me as a child and the UFOs I've seen. Well, can I just go back? I don't know if I answered Gary's question enough there to satisfy his question. I think he knows, as you know, as you do, that I've got interest in all sorts of paranormal, but I'm no expert in any of it. You know.
Well, you are to me. You are to me. You're my expert. So shut your face. So,
I mean, the way I see it, we're all here to learn from each other. The reason I do my radio show is I'm there because I want to learn from people and such as yourself, and I think we all get a little bit out of each other's experiences and knowledge, and you know, and it helps in our general understanding of everything paranormal, really. You know,
I'm going to ask you a personal question, if I may, and I'm sure your good lady wife won't mind me asking this. So, how has Jill?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, how has Jill put up with your? I'm not going to call them obsessions, hobbies, fascinations. I mean, did she come when she met you? Was she a believer in these things anyway, or has she sort of fallen into it, or does she just think it's a load of nonsense?
No, in actual fact, she took me as me. She knew that all that was part of me. So to actually try and, you know, she was to try and stop me from being interested in UFOs or whatever. But she's gradually got. I think she had some interest in it. Anyway, I think most of us have in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know of many people that haven't got some sort of interest in ghosts and or UFOs or whatever, even if it's just a passing interest. But I think because she's known, I never made anything a secret from her. You know, I don't think she knew that I was quite as deep into it as I became when we moved to near Rendlesham. It's probably when she started realising I'm sort of more into this than she actually realised. You know.
Because she's quite interested now, though, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, she's been to events and she's given her own experiences. She's actually had this near-death experience, which she probably told you about. Before I knew her, she actually died twice. I'm talking about maybe 15, 20 years ago when she was younger, in her previous marriage sort of thing. Because she's got asthma, got a bad asthma, so she has to have the pumps and everything. But she actually was taken by ambulance, and she died apparently twice on the way to hospital. And they actually told her she died twice.
Hi, William. Sorry, it's William.
She actually died. Well, she told me about this, but she actually was given a choice as to whether to come back or not. And she made the choice to come back because she thought she had unfinished business. Maybe that unfinished business was to meet me. I don't know. But
maybe that's what it was.
And thank God she did.
And I'm not actually saying that in a big-headed way. What I'm saying is that from a child, she's told me, and she's told you probably, that from her childhood, she always had this fascination with the name David for some strange reason. She even named her first child David.
Isn't that lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's dead sweet.
I mean,
it's a love story there.
But as far as she'd want every man to be named David, as far as but you know, it just makes you think that maybe, because things are sort of we're pushed.
Everything's bad that happens. It happens for a reason. That's why.
Yeah,
I mean, life I never regret.
I mean, things fell into place for me and her. When I was in the job, I mean, neither of us went out to find someone else from our previous marriages. Neither of us did, and we both know that. We just sort of came together by accident, really, and we thought that we were guided together from the other side through that. Because shortly after I met Jill, and there was nothing really big going on. It was just a matter, we just sort of got friendly and we were both in unhappy marriages. But shortly after I met Jill, there was a big redundancy situation came up with my job. And I thought, well, this is my escape. I can actually, because I had a bit of money to come from this particular, I thought, well, this is my ticket out of here, sort of thing. And as you know, we disappeared off to America for 3 months, Jill and I, and we included Grayston in it, of course. But we went from Florida right over to California, driving most of the time. And Jill was sick of being on the road all the time. But I love my road trips, and that's when that was the thing that she stuck with me all that time, and she was actually sick of being in the car a lot of the time. Which has been the thing that I love just driving across, America. But there you go. So that was a kind of I'm sort of rambling a bit. I don't know where to go with it,
but she's into it. She's into it as well, equally as.
I mean, obviously, we're going on an event with the East Anglia crew in August, is it?
Yeah, so I'll be there, looking after you.
looking forward to meeting Richard Felix again, because he's great.
I'll make sure he's on his best behaviour.
Yeah, in fact, I've got to give him a certificate from being on my show.
Oh, he'll love that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was probably about a year and a half ago now, so.
Yeah, he'll love that. He will love that. I think he's going to come. I think he's going to come to the Galleries of Justice with us as well.
That'd be great. Yeah. Because I think he's a fantastic historian. I've got all these DVDs down here. In fact, I'll tell you another little story about the DVDs I've got. It's a silly story, really. I bought the complete Richard Felix Ghost. He goes out to every county in the country. I bought them on eBay about, it's got to be about 15 years ago now. Now, when I got them, they seemed to me to be pirate copies. Because you can open them and you got like the smell of the ink on them, and I thought, this doesn't look right. And I thought for the price I paid for them, it didn't look right either. So what I did, I actually tried to get in touch with Richard Felix, and I think his son actually, I emailed his company, and his son got back to me, phoned me back, and he said that the only place that will be selling those DVDs is via them. Nobody else has got a license for it. Yeah. So I wrote back to the people that I bought these DVDs from, and I said, well, you shouldn't be. Apparently, you should not be selling these DVDs because they're pirates. And I said, I want my money back. And anyway, cut a long story short, I got my money back, but he wasn't very happy because he thought he had a license to sell them. He told me, whether he was telling me that just to keep me quiet, I don't know. But anyway, he never wanted the DVDs back, so I've still got the. Unfortunately, they're a pirate set.
Get Richard to sign them.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
He might take them off me or something. But yeah, no, that was a little story about those. I bought, thinking they were the genuine ones, but apparently you can only get them through Richard Felix's company. So that was a little story.
We have a question, Lois. Do you want to read that out?
David, drifting back onto the subject of the UK unknown, what is the one thing in life you'd like to learn about the paranormal world?
Oh, the one
Good
thing I'd like
question.
to,
That is
the
a
one
really
thing
good
I'd like to know
question.
for sure is where we all go when we die.
Mm.
My spiritual self probably already knows it, you know, but obviously our own human lives, that's kept from us for some strange reason. We're not supposed to know it, but as far as I mean, would I like to be abducted by a UFO? Yes, I think I probably would.
Would you mind being probed though? Because apparently people get probed.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know
I
what
suppose
that's about.
no, I suppose if that's part of it. I mean, when they talk about probes, it doesn't just mean up the, it's all
No.
sorts of probes, isn't it? Down your mouth and up your nose and in your ear and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So that's all part of the probing, not just the other place.
Through your belly, through your belly button and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, through your belly button, as you understand, and they take blood samples, and so we understand from some of the people. Some of these people apparently get implants. I think the thing is, I think it's one of these things we'd all love to be abducted and get that bit of truth, but is it something that maybe happens to people and they've got some way of removing that memory anyway? I think that happens as well. I mean, the people I've spoken to on the show, they seem to think that they've had this experience of missing time and stuff like that, and they can only put it down to an abduction, like the Kinsellas, for instance. Ronnie and Philip, they've had that abduction experience when they were children, and it's been with them all the time. Philip seems to think he's got an implant in his ear, at the back of his ear. And they've got these memories. And Philip also developed his mediumship powers, if you want to call them powers or whatever, since then, didn't he?
Yeah.
There's so many things that I really liked. I mean, we'd all have to see a ghost standing in front of us, I'm sure. I mean, I don't think I'd be one to run away from something like that. I'd be more interested as to... No, I don't think so.
Joe and Terry are in the house.
Terry.
Oh, yeah. Joe and Terry. Right. Yeah, I'm just seeing the little message come up at the bottom here now.
But with this missing time, I mean, like there's places in Scotland that have the time slips. I think Glamis Castle has a time slip. I experienced a time slip at Langard Fault. Was it Langard Fault? Langard Fault. We were gone for 40 minutes, but in real time it was 2.5 hours, and there was 5 of us that experienced the same time slip. But we didn't see people. We didn't see anything unusual or out of the ordinary. It was just time. So we were gone for 40 minutes, but in real time it was an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. It was quite a long time. Yeah. And no one could find us. They even went out and sent people out looking for us. Nobody could find us. So, but we were there looking around, just looking, having a quick walk round before the investigation started.
See,
so it was
again. That sounds like not just a time slip, but maybe a portal. You got into another dimension, maybe. Who knows? And then came back out of it again.
Yeah, but
I mean, we all know there's no such thing as time, is there? As such.
No.
It's only like a measurement thing that we use on this planet to measure things. But there is no real such thing as time.
No.
So, we
couldn't. We got somebody to walk around and do the walk that we did, and that was 40 minutes, and we thought we'd gone for 40 minutes. So it was just crazy. But Terry's been back there since, and we said about the time slip, but he's not experienced it. So maybe it's just at certain times of the I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, again, I'd love to experience something like that myself. So
it didn't feel no different.
The next time, Viv, I'll make sure I'm with you. We'll...
Okay, but it didn't feel no different. It didn't feel like we were doing anything strange. We didn't have any experiences. We didn't see anything. We just walked around, came back. Where the hell have you been? That's all we got.
I'll tell you, there's an interesting story about Rendlesham Woods Forest there. Brenda Butler told me a story about that happened to her with her and a friend. Now Brenda knows Rendlesham Forest like the back of her hand in the dark and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently, she once found herself in a strange part of the forest that she didn't quite recognise, her and her friend, and apparently they went missing for a couple of hours. And as I say, she knew the forest like the back of her hand, and that she didn't recognise a lot of these trees and the flowers and what that were there. So,
oh wow,
she could only think that something happened there, that they may have gone through some sort of a portal, and then obviously came back out of it again. And the fact that people were looking for her for a couple of hours kind of backs that up. It's quite strange.
Terry says, got married. Now it's 24 years later. What?
That's
is that paranormal?
Yeah. But
paranormal wife.
No, congratulations. At least you're still together.
Yeah.
24 years later, wow. That's a big thing.
It is. It is. Lois, have you got any questions for David?
I can't think, but I definitely will follow you, David, because you have. I'm usually a lot more chatty, but tonight I've been memorised with what you're talking about, so I've kind of got lost in that and forgot all about the role of talking.
No, I mean, if anyone wants to follow, I've got a radio show called The Paranormal Dimensions on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. You can just Google that or anything. In fact, I'll show you one of my little cards if I can.
Let me say it slowly, and I'll write it in the comments. What is it called?
Right, it's Paranormal Dimensions on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. You can follow my shows and things. I've got a Facebook page also, Paranormal Dimensions, which I sort of back up. Yeah, I'll sort of give you information about what the shows are going to be coming up and everything.
Is that the Paranormal UK network?
Paranormal UK Radio Network is called.
Okay.
PAUK. PAUK.com. In fact, you can do www.pauk.
Hang on, it got me confused now. Let me get that on there, and then give me the website. www.
That's it, that one there. www.paukradio.com. That's it.
.com.
And people will be interested to know that Biv's going to be on there in a few weeks. And of course, what's the date we've got for your one goes?
I don't know. I'll just do what you tell me.
Because we'll be talking about what happened on the AFI thing for that weekend. Which should be a nice weekend. So we'll be either be talking about it before or is it after? After probably. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that.
That's going to be good. It's a shame you're not there, Lois, because we'd get you going there as well.
I know. As I said, I've been always fascinated with things like this. So when everything like these sort of shows are on, I used to always tune into. But obviously, before I came on with Viv and Dan, I used to tune in and watch these things. I love it. Just love it.
Well, we've got news for you.
I'd like to go to Scotland more often.
let's do a trip to Ayrshire and meet up with Lois and go and do some investigating up there.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love all the Scottish castles and the locks and everything up there. But obviously, it's a plane ride, isn't it, from here?
Yeah.
Aye.
I did drive it a few years back. We did go about 2014, 15, I think it was. We drove all the way around the locks and everything. And I drove all the way back non-stop.
Wow.
Oh, God, you would have been so tired.
Yeah, but it's just me.
But the cost of the petrol and diesel now, it's just not
now
worth
it's
it.
ridiculous.
Oh,
yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh,
No,
let's just talk about that.
Get a plane, and then
Definitely.
Yeah, just get a plane, and then we'll just hire a car, or we'll get a minibus or something while we're there. And that's it.
Yeah.
It'd be cheaper.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, whether it'll all come down again, you kind of doubt it, don't you? You know, once things go up, they don't sort of come back to where they were again normally. They might bring it down a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to sort of be, you know, diesel will be about 175, I should think at least now.
Yeah. Terry's got a question. David, do you think the UFO will come back and deactivate the nukes in Russia before they use them?
Well, Terry, let's hope so. I've heard stories about deactivating nukes in the past. Whether you can actually believe these stories or not, I guess we don't know until it actually comes to the crunch. I don't think. I mean, in my own honest opinion, I don't think the Russians would ever nuke us as such, not unless we sort of started it. I think there's a faction in the West that wants to start a third world war, but for their own reasons, because of the financial stuff that's been going on, and they know that we're all broke, and I think they'd like to kill a few of us off. But that's just my opinion. So, I mean, as far as UFOs deactivating the nukes, I don't know. I think they've probably got that capability, you know, and UFOs. I believe UFOs are around all the time anyway. So whether they're actually doing stuff already, who knows? You know, all I can say is I join you in hoping that they would.
Do you think that this is my question to you, because I have a theory that when things get released, when I say release, I'm not talking about these documents and stuff. I'm talking about the actual proof of alien not weaponry, but alien spacecraft or the alien themselves. I think it will be Russia that will do it, that will release this with the actual proof as a FU to America. You know, it'll be like, look at this, I'm going to release it. And I don't think it will be in anyone's best interest. I think it will just be Russia being an arse because they can.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but did you know France already did that years ago? They've already admitted that UFOs were real. Yeah. But it's one of these things that the mainstream media says, oh, how funny is all that? Also, UFOs, little cream men again. They just make a joke of the whole thing, as you know, whenever you talk about UFOs on these mainstream media shows. They just ridicule it, even though you've got the Pentagon coming out now saying about UFOs are real and they don't know what they are. They're seeing these things. They still make a joke of it on mainstream media. Why that is, I don't know.
And do you know what? See, even if they did come out and say, there's going to be a lot of people, as you say, that are going to laugh and not take it seriously. Like, and you could just.
It's the same as they laugh about ghosts and things, don't they?
Oh God,
you get the same thing, you know.
The amount of laughing faces that I've seen about somebody recently put up something in the paper and they were talking about ghost hunting and it was the amount of laughing faces. I'll always look at the amount of laughing faces that people put up, and it's just like, it's probably people obviously that are quite skeptical about these things. I think until you actually see it for yourself and experience it, that's when you'll believe it.
Chantal says, aliens killed my signal, but I overpowered them. Probed them with their own probe, and now I'm back. I love it.
Well done, Chantal. Well done. But you know, I don't know. It's such an awkward subject to actually, to be treated seriously. You know very well, if any of us were invited onto a TV show, you've got to expect you're going to take the pee out of you.
Oh, God, aye.
Because that's really, even people like Malcolm Robinson, you know, he's had several experiences where he's been invited onto shows and to talk about UFOs, and they just sort of basically ha 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 and take the pee out of him. You know, it's not a pleasant experience, I don't think, and it's only because of these people just don't understand what they're talking about anyway. You know,
no, exactly.
It's obviously it's easy to take the pee out of something if you don't understand it, and I think that's where
what's wrong with having theories, because these theories is where it all begins, the theories and then proving the theories, and if you prove the theories right, then that goes down in history, doesn't it? Part of our evolution and that sort of thing.
But this is what you see, we're on this treadmill. We get born, we go to school, we get fed a load of mainstream media bull, basically, which is a lot of it is false history anyway. Until you get the true history of the is. You go, then you start going to work, and you're trained to obey orders and everything else, and then you end up retiring and dying. So that's kind of the treadmill of life, and you're supposed to not step off of that treadmill and ask questions. And the likes of yourselves and myself, we are the type that are now asking questions and trying to find out what the actual truth is. And people like that, a lot of people, David Icke is a fine example of someone who's been ridiculed, and the mainstream media say, do not listen to this man because he's mad, or he's just don't know what he's talking about.
Too close to the truth, maybe.
I've met David Icke on several occasions, and he is not mad. Let me tell you this. He is a very, very intelligent man, a very nice man who will talk to anybody, and he really cares about humanity and what's going on on the world, and people say he's a Freemason and all that. I don't believe that at all, because he's actually exposed a lot of what the Freemasons have been up to.
Even if he is, what does it matter? It's
Exactly.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is I've met him several times, and he's not mad. Believe me, he's a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I was on the fence. I thought, well, I wanted to find out what this David Icke man was all about, and I went to see him in London, and he just blew me away. He was speaking for a period of 12 hours, from 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And during that 12 hours, he must have spoken for about 10 and a half hours of them.
Wow.
You know what? During all that, I never saw him take a drink of water. We're talking for a couple of hours. You'd want to have a sip of water. Is he an alien or what? I don't know.
I think he might be.
No, but he was a fascinating man.
On that note, we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank you, David. Stay where you are. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, David.
We have a good chat, and we want to get you back on again and soon, if you don't mind.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And I want to thank everybody in the chat as well for putting up with us, and thank you to Loopy Lois.
I know. So,
thank you,
really
Smply and Loopy.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I just want to announce as well that this Friday will be the start of another show. And we have the name. It's called Frighteners on Simply Spooky. So keep an eye out on that for that on Friday. And just welcome everybody. And I hope you can make the first ever Frighteners show that goes out on Friday. So whatever you're doing this weekend, be safe, stay calm, stay warm, and don't let the aliens get you. Until next week.
See you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Go and see the Elvis film. It's fantastic.
Yes.